As me, ZG, going into this, I don't actually have a favorite. I guess we can talk more about that after some intros. In the bottom right, a red Protoss player, NightPhoenix.
In the top left is the blue Protoss. It is Strange.
Yeah, I feel like these two kind of players, you know, we've seen NightPhoenix. I mean, Strange's been around a very long time. NightPhoenix a bit more of a newcomer to the scene, but you know, if I think about them, I kind of would place them in the same sort of tier, the same sort of level with each other. So I don't know if you have any different opinions on that, but to me, this is one that's kind of just up in the air as they're both looking to save themselves from going 0-2.
They both have not played against each other in a professional sense anyways, I guess. So maybe on the ladder. We don't know. Strange is a little more recognizable as having made it into more regionals, I suppose. Basically what gives him the credit. But NightPhoenix, you know, I don't think it's really out of the realms of possibility considering that he made it here for this season, has improved enough to then tackle a lot of the other Protosses, because that's so much of what Europe comes down to anyways. It's like, okay, NightPhoenix, welcome to the real game, which is PvPing your way to the top of the group. Maybe not the typey top, but, you know, actually advancing. And it's going to be our first, I guess, real sign of what NightPhoenix can do, because we witnessed him versus Here Marine, and it just was... what he did show was that, I said it, he actually has a bit of like a killer instinct. And I think that would work really well in PvP. So I guess I do have some information, but very, very little, because otherwise Here Marine was just, you know, doing Here Marine things. Yeah,
like, it's very rare that someone wins the first game, and then we're just like, yeah, well, I mean, like, the rest of the series just undid the first game so heavily that, yes, I'm absolutely down for this also just being NightPhoenix's first real chance to show us exactly what he's about here in this season, what he's going to be able to get up to. So, we're very excited, obviously, because we set this up. PvP was absolutely stellar yesterday, ZG. I think that's one thing we've got to note as well, that PvP has just been a very fun matchup to watch. So yeah, definitely excited to kind of dive into a little bit of it. I was actually just double-checking who Strange played against. He lost to Clem in the first round. So, kind of maybe his first chance to kind of show us what he's all about as well.
Exactly. Yeah, both of them actually getting to show what they can do, but also, you know, specifically in the PvP, which is really going to be the ultimate test for both groups, I suppose, really. So who is going to end up being better? So far, we do have a difference of openers. NightPhoenix going with a 1-base Twilight Council opener. Probably going to be more aggressive, at least having some form of aggression with that faster blink. And for Strange, she has gone into a very safe opener of multiple sentries. The shield battery comes down, yeah, then you don't have to worry about some of the earlier stalker pressures either. And this will give him the information that he needs. So we'll see the Twilight Council, and you will want to do another Phoenix later on to see exactly what's coming out of that, but good news, Strange will be able to afford it. Come on, please. Yeah, okay.
Obviously just check the full main base here with the hallucination. But yeah, he's got multiple sentries, and that means you can get multiple hallucinations, so you can have that second check of just making sure that this isn't a Dark Shrine. There is going to be the Stalker pressure, because we've gone heavily on Stalkers initially as NightPhoenix, but as you mentioned, there's going to be that battery. So you are safe here as Strange. There ain't much that NightPhoenix can do on the start, and obviously we are expanding on both sides at pretty similar timing, but it is just NightPhoenix wanting to dive right on into the ability to just kind of jump on their opponents and just get a lot done from there.
This is really NightPhoenix proving that he is just a bit more on the aggressive side of things, player-wise. But I'm kind of happy to see that he is being aggressive. Some of his best moments versus Here Marine is when he did try to take advantage of momentum, of aggression. That's how he won the first game. So it's staying true in this PvP, proxying up that gateway. While the Stalkers initially couldn't get anything done thanks to that shield battery, you are nonetheless still building up the Stalker count to eventually get to the blink. Unfortunately, NightPhoenix did not have a probe ready for surprise timing at depths, because they really are kind of randomly timed. But that will happen in PvP. So 6 probes go down, possibly 7. Maybe 8. There's no shield battery. So
yeah, 1 at depth still very useful here. Gonna have to use the probes to help out. We do get to 8, and then we're going to go to the low ground where there is another probe pull to clean up, but that's major damage done, and that is going to put Strange very far ahead very early. And with an Immortal on the way out, looking good to potentially get the defense going against these Stalkers. I don't think there's an overwhelming amount here from NightPhoenix. With 3 sentries to help, 6 Stalkers to support that Immortal, I don't see Strange having trouble at all. We lose a sentry to start, but Yeah, I think Strange looking good, especially with the Worker lead, going to be able to afford so much more now in the future. And look at this, the confidence to move so far forward. A little scary, but yeah, he's okay.
Which is more than okay. I don't see a world in which he ever even throws this. Even if he moved out, I think he's still strong enough. 2 Immortals, Guardian Shield. Yeah, I think he'd still be alright. So NightPhoenix is in a ton of trouble. Definitely need to make up for this. Is starting to get back on the pro production and might try and even slip some Adepts in later on to get some return damage, but at a much later time. It won't be as effective. A little bit of a strong reaction there from Strange to a little pokey poke. Yeah, a couple of force fields go down, help take care of one of the stalkers. There's really nothing NightPhoenix can do.
Yeah, not really. These Adepts are Strange realize, hey, there's just a free entry into the main base again. Last time there was at least a probe there that just didn't build the battery. This time there wasn't anything there, so 2 more Adepts going to get in. More damage being done, and NightPhoenix just falling further and further behind. A game of Adepts so far, as the shade out wasn't far enough, so a couple of Adepts from NightPhoenix will chase, and we will trade out 1 for 1, probably 2 for 1 in the end, in favor of NightPhoenix. He's still trying to do something about these Immortals, which are now pushing more aggressively forward, and it looks like they want to come through and deny this proxied pylon, which is also attached to a gateway, so it's really nice to deny some production of your opponent.
Strange reading this game rather perfectly and getting all the damage with the Adepts, make sure that he is not just reading it well, but actually just straight up winning too, because if those Adepts didn't do damage, NightPhoenix is probably already on a 3rd base because he was taking the map control. So this wasn't really all that all in. It just looks like it was really all in because the Adept did damage. Proxy gateway itself was not necessarily like all my chips are on the table at this point. But now it's so far gone. 16 worker deficit for NightPhoenix, who just canceled his 3rd. I swear I saw a red blob around that 3rd, Wardy.
I didn't quite notice it, but very, very possible. Maybe just deciding what exactly he wants to do. Kind of having some second thoughts. Finally finds this pylon. That's the source of these Adepts that have been causing so much pain in this game. If it wasn't for those Adepts, NightPhoenix would have been in probably a fine position. His army supply is still high, but of course 14 workers is going to be making up for that for Strange. And, well, he's about to have his own blink, about to have +1 in his favor. 3rd base coming up. Extra gates already finished as well from Strange, so he's up on 6 against his opponent's 3. ZG. Everything is just stacked against NightPhoenix right now. It is not looking pretty as he blinks in to try and get a cancel. Units of Strange a little AFK for a few moments, and we are going to get the kill. Okay, I mean, that's nice. That was just Strange a little bit AFK, and he just loses 3rd base advantage.
He thought he could save that one. He was wrong about that. I was going to say the cancel is not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but losing 400 minerals is it's not great. But I think what a cancel or a kill, what really made that good for NightPhoenix. Oh, never mind. All right. Well, I was going to say is that it might mean that there's no shield bounty overcharge for the all-in that it eventually does do. But NightPhoenix, I am so sure he had a 3rd Nexus on the way. Then he canceled it. Then he built gateways. And I thought he was going to all-in, so I was like, oh, lack of shield bounty overcharge might be a big issue. But now he's not all-inning, so it's a moot point anyways. Okay, yeah, you killed a Nexus. That is usually good, but there's no follow-up. So Strange still has the lead.
Yeah, I would have liked it if you just didn't build this Nexus. I thought the robo was going to be build a prism, go across, and let's just send it. Let's just try and get it done. But, yeah, I mean, he's kind of like whirring around a roundabout, not sure which exit to take, who doesn't know which route he actually wants to use to get to an end of this game. And again, that kind of indecision, that kind of bit of this, bit of that, it never really works. Usually, you want to be either just go all in or have dropped this 3rd base minutes ago, right? Because right now, you know, like you say, the cancel on the 3rd of Strange, even the kill, doesn't matter if you're not all in. It doesn't matter if you're not macroing. This kind of middle of the road is just really hurting NightPhoenix, and he's getting further and further behind now. Strange obviously very confident to move forward, get a few picks, and actually, I mean, every unit you trade out equally here as Strange is pretty much just good for you because you've got more economy to rebuild with.
Income advantage graph heavily in favor of the blue Protoss, and Strange is going to now use all that. Have invested into the +2, invested into the Resonating Glaives. Might seem a little odd, but that does seem to be also making a slight comeback for a kill move. He's going to go for a kill move. The Adepts can shade on top of the army of NightPhoenix and past the army, of course, as well, should they want to. I don't think it's necessarily all that much better than Charge, to be honest, but I feel like I have been seeing this more often, and, well, Protoss players can maybe discuss why. I think we've even seen it literally only for harassment. So far, nothing but Stalker's worked in.
Yeah, sometimes it can be really good, like if you catch your opponent as they start to get the first few Zealots up and then the Zealots just melt. before they get to a higher count, and then, you're looking for kill moves, so it's kind of fine to just have glaives. But yeah, I mean, in this case, it doesn't really matter what he chose. Anything would have done it. In fact, glaives obviously has no role to play, as you mentioned already. This is just going to be way too much from Strange. A game of Adepts. Those Adepts early, just consistently doing so much damage as through everything else that NightPhoenix tried to do off. And that's going to be GG to open up this best of 3 with Strange 1-0 in the lead.
It was a very funky final battle, but yeah, Strange just so far in the lead. It didn't really matter what was going to happen. So GG really did come down to the Adepts. That's kind of been the case here for PvPs today, because earlier with some of the PvPs in Asia, they also were just like Adepts won the game, right? And not even an all-in of Adepts. So that was the case again. NightPhoenix, unfortunately, didn't really get to show, I think, what he wanted to show, which was Blink aggression into a very strong control game where he had him Strange pinned back and then faster third Nexus. Because it could really look quite good if 2 Adepts don't constantly kill all your probes.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what NightPhoenix did in particular in terms of like the build or the choices. You just can't let that many probes die to Adepts. I mean, the first 2 Adepts, there was a probe right there on the wall, and the Adepts actually turned back around and be like, oh, you're right there, I'll just go and kill you. Like, you just got to get that battery down. So that's just something you've got to be able to do. And it's just going to be an extra moment getting in this game. They hosted the wrong map at first, so we're going to go for round 2. And this time we're going to get the right map hosted. It's going to be Babylon for map number 2 of this series here in the PvPs. Yeah, just solid stuff from Strange. See if NightPhoenix... I mean, I'm excited because I feel like this wasn't just Strange outclassing NightPhoenix, though. This is definitely a case of NightPhoenix like making that one mistake, letting those Adepts in. Okay, happened twice. But that's one of those things that's easily fixed. NightPhoenix is very capable of building the battery, walling off. So just do that. We have the potential to get a really cool game still.
I agree. I didn't think that was so one-sided. Strange was stronger looking, but that really had a lot to do with just how much of an advantage he had gained for himself. If those probes didn't die, there's a lot more difficult choices having to be made when you're blinkless. Getting that third is extraordinarily difficult, but it was a much easier road for Strange. So he looked better, but I would say it really wasn't the case of just 100% better player than NightPhoenix. No chance here, my man. No, NightPhoenix just needs to get the shield battery up. And then I'm more than happy to see him continue to be the more aggressive one.
Well, let's see if more aggression will be the name of the game for round 2. As we head into Babylon, we're going to start in the bottom right corner with the blue Protoss from Mystery Gaming. It is Strange.
In the top left down a game, he is the red Protoss, NightPhoenix.
It's going to be a high ground pylon from both, despite our defendable natural, so that's already a little bit of intrigue. You could have gone low ground gateway here, attempted to expand, but neither player will opt for that. They will instead still opt for this high ground setup. Could still be 1 gate high ground and tech behind it and doing something funky, but obviously more likely than not, it is still 2 gateways here, and you build off of those 2 gateways into whatever your follow-up may be.
Yeah, it's a little more of a King Cobra thing. I know that some other people do it, but...
But the, what part? The
1 gate high ground expand?
Yeah. I was going to say, every time I see 2 gates high ground on a map that has, like, 1 gate expand potential on the low ground, I always think of Geralt, because I feel like Geralt is someone who never, ever puts a low ground pylon. Like, a single time. So, not that he's, like, pioneering the style of not 1 gate expanding, but he just does it so consistently, probably more than anyone else, that I'm like, oh yeah, it's the Geralt almost.
Yeah, he definitely does not like playing that natural versus natural game. And there is like a lot of mind games involved, so it's almost... I don't know what Protoss players think is actually the best. Like, maybe theoretically, on a map like Babylon, the Nexus is better. But that assumes you get away with it, and then we all know that a lot of things happen in a StarCraft game, so you're not guaranteed to get away with anything. So, but then it just comes down to so much of player preference, and Geralt is definitely one who's just like, you know what, I know what a 2-gate expand is, I'm very comfortable with it, I'm just going to keep on doing it. Perhaps these 2 players in a similar boat, maybe NightPhoenix more so, might be using this to jumpstart aggression, since he was the one to do it last game, and yet again, basically starting the aggression with a 2 Stalker opener versus a Stalker Sentry opener. Stalker Sentry is just the most plain Jane macro opener that you can go for, and it does work. It is nice to defend with.
Do you just call it a plain Jane opener?
I did, yeah.
I like that. That's fun.
Never heard that?
No.
Plain Jane?
No? Well, I mean, maybe, but like, I guess not while casting, I suppose.
While casting a StarCraft game.
I'm just gonna add it to my list of like, female names that you can rhyme with things like Roddy's G's Louise and now CG's Plain Jane. I'm just gonna add it to this little page that I write down, and I'm just gonna use them every now and then.
Well, G's Louise is pretty much only because it rhymes, right? Plain Jane, I think, is because Jane is it's like Jane Doe.
Yeah, this is a plain normal name.
Yeah.
It just rhymes as well, though, ZG. You take both.
I mean, that does make it better. That's true. I really want to include more very, like, American regional, kind of euphemisms and stuff. Because Kalaris has all these British ones. And I'm like, that's funny. I need to find out more American ones. But I'm like the typical mid-Atlantic that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
So I need to, like, dig deep into the southern, I need to say butter my biscuit more often.
I try not to use any of the UK ones because, brings attention to the fact I'm from the UK. It's not usually a good thing. Sentries.
Oh, good stuff.
Good force fields. Getting kill that first dev very easily. Good defense initially from Strange. We might lose a sentry here. Battery comes up just in time. We lose the sentry, sure, but the Stalker's kept alive, and now we return fire. Getting a Stalker in return, and NightPhoenix trying to just force some aggression, and it ain't working.
No, it was. It did not. I mean, it's not necessarily all that surprising. Sometimes the PvP does open up this way, but yeah, NightPhoenix, if he also doesn't do anything with the Stargate opener, then I'm just like, well, this is just a bad game. Strange is playing so safe. It is so difficult for NightPhoenix to get the damage done. Not impossible, but just difficult. And the Oracle is not going to get any more damage. So Strange, 5 worker advantage, and the much, much faster Blink. Also going to have the faster +1. NightPhoenix, I think the only thing he could do now that would actually trip up Strange would be a Dark Shrine.
Yeah.
No, not going to get it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm looking at this Oracle. It's super well defended against. Obviously, fast blink is always nice. Oracle gets a shot on a probe. Doesn't even get a kill, just a single shot takes some shields away. And now the Oracle has to turn back up the right-hand side. Away we go.
Oh, yeah, this is just... And now the Dark Templar, by the way, wouldn't have worked, so it's kind of good that I guess NightPhoenix didn't go for it. Strange is playing, again, very safe. Perhaps he does believe that he is maybe the slightly better player. I think, again, it's very hard to call in PvP when they don't face each other in competition very often. But one thing has already been proven from that first game is that Strange, when he plays on the straight and narrow, does get a victory. And after defending the first Stalker attack and then the second Oracle pair, yeah, Strange should be full of confidence and should just be like, yep, just play it safe, and I'll have a lead for the rest of this game.
Absolutely, just no reason to take any risks. Mortal, a couple extra gates. You see a lot of extra gates actually coming down right now from NightPhoenix. They're going to go up to 6 gateways here, which is obviously a bit more of that aggressive intention. So, yeah, we'll see if he can make something happen. One of them is proxy too, so he absolutely wants to get something done. NightPhoenix just does not know how to lay off the aggression at this point.
I kind of like it, though. This is a very odd timing for an attack. Strange has only... Yeah, he hasn't scouted in a long time, right? He's only been defending. Okay, well, I just talked about scouting. Hallucination is going to go across the map. It's going to see an absence of a few things, such as the third base. And around this time, considering that Strange is the one on the defense, I think would be like, okay, so NightPhoenix is going to try and take advantage of the momentum and go for a third nexus. What else is he going to do? Oh my god, Blink Stop is my main base. Now I know. Does Strange actually have enough units to defend? And Immortal's certainly going to help out here. Blink on cooldown, of course, NightPhoenix up just the last second, pulls back, but does lose some of his units, loses the stasis trap, and Strange still does have his robo pumping away.
I think it's just going to check that right side as well. Just make sure there's no third over here. Make sure Strange wasn't trying to expand, and if he was, make sure that gets stopped. A couple of pounds to repower these 2 gateways. A little painful because, Strange's extra gates weren't done yet, so it is a pretty decent chunk of his production shut down. As obviously Strange has Blink of his own to reposition with, has the +1 attack upgrade, and just has the army supply lead too, so The real power of this was truly just going to be the kind of the surprise factor from NightPhoenix, that kind of first punch, and now that Strange is very aware of what NightPhoenix is doing, I just don't see NightPhoenix being able to get too much more done here. As, yep, a couple of Mortals, just good force fields again, catching 2 more Stalkers, and these are units being bled off right now from NightPhoenix that just are not affordable.
I don't know what NightPhoenix is planning on doing with that other proxy pylon on the bottom left, but the probe's still hanging around, so maybe that was going to be a Dark Shrine if he didn't see Robo units. I have no idea. But NightPhoenix overall in trouble. You're absolutely right. There's nothing I can think of that can get him out of the situation. And Strange is once again looking to deliver the killing blow with +2 and Resonant Glaives, which he may or may not actually use. But his army outside of that is still pretty good.
Yeah, the army quality is absolutely insane. As you do lose 1 Oracle, actually just getting a couple probes, sure, but yeah, losing out overall. 3 Immortals really do pack the punch as you go across the map, plus the 6 sentries for a lot of force fields and Guardian Shield potential. The quality of army is hugely advantageous for Strange, and never mind the fact he's 20 army supply ahead on top, and +2 to +0. You know, you can list any reason right now, and Strange has the lead, and absolutely rightly so is going to go across the map in a very deja vu moment from the last game.
Very, very much so. Resonant Glaives again, even though I didn't use it at all.
Yeah, he's like, this is my secret. It's like I leave this note behind when I dispatch of an opponent. It's the Resonant Glaives that's never used. It's my signature move.
It's his, yeah, there you go, his signature move. The Colossus is also pretty nice. NightPhoenix is not an observer, so his AI, at the very least, is going to be confused. He snipes the Warp Prism, but big deal. It's not actually something that Strange needs.
Yep, not in the slightest as we continue to push through. Stalker's in a lot of trouble. Way too many units here from NightPhoenix. The attacks in. Probes are going to pull, but you can see that there's not enough, and Strange is going to take that series.